Hey church, we just wanted to come to you today to let you know of some great things God has done in our lives and with my daughter Aubrey. It was about 4 months ago, we had noticed when Aubrey was playing soccer that she was really getting tired way sooner than she should have. She was always raising her hand wanting to get subbed out, and she really hadn't been in the game very long playing. My wife and I talked. We knew we had to get her some help, and so we didn't know where to really start, so we went to our family doctor, and he referred us to a doctor up in Toledo. She got looked at and diagnosed with sports-induced asthma, and what else?
I didn't get diagnosed with vocal cord dysfunction until 2 other appointments after.
Within a matter of a couple months, she got 2 diagnoses. And so it's like, okay, what do we do with this? And so she got an inhaler, and the doctor basically said she had to relearn how to breathe properly because her vocal cords were so tight that it wasn't opening up enough for her to, once she got running and busy and moving in sports, for her to sustain her proper breathing. But nothing really seemed to exactly fix it, right? It was about a month after we did all these treatments and tried these things, we just happened to have a evangelist come to church. His name was Joe Oden, and he did as any evangelist would do and really shared what God was doing in his life and through his ministry. And at the end of the service, he just happened to be talking about healing, and that there was a lot of issues with asthma and what else? Scoliosis.
Herniated discs.
And herniated discs. Guys, we didn't come to the church service knowing that he was going to be calling for these 3 things. During this time, I didn't realize that as Aubrey had raised her hand, that Joe had called her out of hundreds of people that were up on, surrounding the stage at the altar to come up, and he was going to pray over her.
At that church service, evangelist Joe Oden was making altar calls for healing. They specifically called for people with asthma, scoliosis, and herniated discs. The evangelist just happened to call me to the stage and prayed over me. Shortly after, my legs went numb and I fell to the ground, overcome with the Holy Spirit. As soon as my back hit the ground, my breathing was clearer than it had been in a long time. So now when I play soccer or basketball and people ask, "Where's your inhaler?" or "Why don't you get winded as much as you usually did?" this allows us to tell us what God did.
Me as a dad, I knew I seen what she went through on the field, right? And I knew it wasn't right. Again, nothing against the medical, nothing against the doctors and the things that we did. It was all legit. It was all to try to help, right? But what was going on right in front of all our eyes that night was something supernatural. So when I seen her fall down and overcome with the power of the Holy Spirit, I thought, oh Lord, how long is this, I know you can heal, but how long is this going to take? And when she said it was instant, it was like, okay, well, it's just a matter of time until we see how God had healed Aubrey. We literally, Anna and I both, as these next few games at the end of the season went on, had parents coming up to us asking, how's come Aubrey is like running all over the field, running here, there, and everywhere, and she doesn't get tired? Like, how's come she's just, like, no one does that? Well, this is what happened. Like, we went through all these things, went to Toledo and had this evangelist come in, and he miraculously healed Aubrey, or God miraculously did it through this evangelist. And it opens the door, folks, for us to just put God on blast, like to literally show and explain to them, like, this is real. We didn't make this up. I've got the doctor's bills to prove it. and she is a living testimony of what God can do, and that he is the ultimate healer if he chooses to do so.
Just like the sermons that Pastor usually says that are like, Lord, help me overcome my unbelief, was just big thing at that moment. I couldn't have believed it at any time. It's still kind of unbelievable right now. Like, it was crazy. It took like some faith not to use my inhaler before games like I usually do, but other than that, it was practically instant. It didn't take a lot of transition to get used to breathing normally again. So,
one thing that stood out to me is as Joe was asking Aubrey questions on stage, and he's mic'd up, I mean, we can hear everything he's asking her. One thing that he did ask as he was praying the Holy Spirit's healing over her, as I watched it all go down, is he took his hand and he put it right as he put his hand there, he asked her, "Do you feel the tightness going away?" And that's what she was diagnosed with, is a tightness in her vocal cords. He didn't know that. God told him that there is tightness. And that's what just did it for me. And I knew that if God could talk to this evangelist and tell her what was going on, that he was going to heal her. And that's exactly what he did.